All right, we're live here. It takes StreamYard a little bit of time to warm up, before we get in. Like, Tony, I didn't tell you, so we're going live inside the Facebook group Sales Revolution, my personal Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and the Facebook business page. So you're going to have a lot of people that see you. Mr. Popular over there.
Pressure's on.
The pressure is on. Now, I do have to ask you, do you have the sound machine available to use at your discretion today?
You know what? It's actually sitting on another desk over there, and it's not plugged in. So
no sound machine.
No sound machine. I can do them verbally.
You can do verbal sound machines. Yeah, we have the podcast built in here in the offices here now. It just got done 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we actually have all those sounds in there now. So when you watch the podcast Closer There's Losers, you're going to hear me and Matt like wah 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 wah. Like Perfect. Different things. I got the same one that Matt has over in the Sydney office. So I'm all excited. I'm like a little kid, like playing around with the buttons.
Yeah, it's too much fun, arguably.
Too much fun. All right. So today we're going live. Like I said, in the Facebook group Sales Revolution. Got about 17,000 of you followers in there. We're going live in my personal Facebook. Hello, friends and family. Going live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and the Facebook business page. We have about 66,000 people on that dang thing following us around. So, all right, we're going to have lots of fun. All right, so today we're going to interview Tony. Now, Tony, how do you pronounce your last name? It's a hard one for me to pronounce, man.
I know. Being from Arkansas, it can't be easy.
That is true. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's Haddad.
Haddad. I mean, that
like,
sounds pretty
Haddad.
Haddad. Tony Haddad. So we're going to talk to Tony. Tony's been a client of Seventh Levels for, it's been over a year, right? Maybe
almost
year and a half almost. Has it been that long? Holy cow. We're a bunch of old guys around here.
I know.
So we're going to break down, we're going to talk about an interesting subject. So normally, Tony does really well. He's making over $200,000 a year in commissions. He just left his sales job, or actually got promoted, and now he's focused on recruitment at his job and basically hiring salespeople for the job, right? Tell us a little bit about your new role that you just got promoted to.
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially the role has kind of evolved to, we jokingly call it HR because we never really want an actual HR because we don't use the C word, which is corporate. Okay. And we don't want to be that, obviously, because we maintain a fun culture. We maintain like a lively culture. And as you grow and corporatize, like that can dwindle away. So we want to be really careful about that. Yeah. But ultimately what my role entails is, working closely with some of you guys know Sean Ray, and with Matt and Will Hinkson, and basically cultivating the culture as people come in and sort of being that filtration system at the same time as sort of helping develop the reps as they progress. Because sometimes you start as an appointment setter and they want to be a high level closer. So how can we, with the help of NEPQ, like how can we develop you to being the best that you can?
Yeah. And what we're going to do for you guys today, we're going to talk a little bit about Tony's story, how he got into sales, how he went from $3,000 a month to, how he went from like 35, 40 grand a year in commissions to 200 grand a year in commissions, like really, really quickly. What are some skill sets that he learned as a client of NEPQ? And then how did he get involved on this side of the fence now, as far as recruitment, training, development of reps? And we're going to go over, he's really going to share with you like what employers are actually looking for when they're interviewing you. Okay. So like if you're wanting to get a better sales gig than you have, like what do you need to do in that interview? So we're going to cover a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about what they're actually looking for. What are they maybe looking for in your resume that you don't have now? Like different things like that. Okay. Now, if you're brand new in the Sales Revolution Facebook group or LinkedIn or wherever that you're watching this live, I'm Jeremy Miner. I'm the boring guy over here, but I'm the chairman of Seventh Level. Now we're an organization that helps people exactly like you watching me and Tony Haddad right now. So we help salespeople like you. We help coaches like you. We help sales executives, sales leaders, sales managers who run teams. We help business owners who want to scale their companies, entrepreneurs, and we help you transform the way you and your team sell by learning specific skilled questions and techniques that actually work with human behavior. Now, what does that mean? When I say work with human behavior, do you know what that actually means?
What does it mean, Jeremy?
What does it actually mean? Okay. So that means we're working with questions that are called neuro-emotional persuasion questions. So when we say NEPQ, okay, that's what we mean by that. So we have to teach you the right tonality, the right delivery of the question that helps put your prospects at ease, takes out the sales pressure so there's no resistance, okay, and triggers your prospect to actually want to engage, want to open up to you, and eventually gets them to sell and persuade themselves. Do you want to learn those type of skills that our clients now know? Now, if you want to learn those type of skills like thousands of our clients are doing, there's a reason why we have, I lost count a little while ago, but we have something like 5,200 some testimonials in the last, I want to say, it's like 28 months. There's a reason why. Okay. So if you want to learn those type of skills, if you want to get, to 10 grand a month in commissions, you want to get to 15 grand a month in commissions with what you sell right now, or 20 grand a month in commissions, or 30 or 40, whatever you're at, you want to go there. You want to learn those type of skills like our clients and do that consistently, not just 1 month, then your commissions go back down, but like do that every single month, because we have clients that are doing that right now that are in your industry watching me right now. I literally sell the exact same thing you are. We train over 150 different industries at this point. So if that's you, I want you to message me directly right now. So if you're on LinkedIn, message me directly. I'll get back to you. If you're on Facebook, message me directly. If you can't figure out how to message directly, because maybe I couldn't do it, in the comments section, post hashtag NEPQ, and either myself or someone on my team will message you more details to see if we can help. Now, if you're on the live right now, I want you to post hashtag live, okay? So if you're on live right now, post hashtag live. Somebody just said, first day of NEPQ 2.0 today, completely changing my beliefs around sales. That's a good start, whoever put that. It just says Facebook user. I can't see it on here. So if you're on the live right now, I want you to post hashtag live. If you're on the replay, go to your phone and post hashtag replay. So if you're on live, post hashtag live. If you're on the replay, post hashtag replay. Now, I want you to go smash. So grab your phone real quick, because I'm not going to have Tony reveal these secrets to you without you going and smashing the like button and smashing the heart button. So go to your phone, smash the like button, smash the heart button. I don't care if you're on LinkedIn, or I don't know if they can do that on YouTube, but on Facebook, our Facebook group, Facebook business page, smash the heart button, smash the like button. Okay. I want to see hundreds of smashed hearts and hundreds of smashed likes.
That's it? Only 100, Jeremy? We want
at least a few hundred.
1,000.
Yeah, we need to see thousands of hearts. All right, Tony, let's talk about this. Okay, so walk us through, because you went from like making 30, 40 grand a year in commissions up to 200 grand a year in commissions. That's like 4x. Okay, that's a big difference in income and lifestyle. Were you born out of your mother's womb having advanced questioning and tonality skills, or is that something you might have learned?
I'd like to think so, but I know that that's not.
I mean, you're a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, I'm not that cool, Jeremy. You know that. I was in sales for a long time, like 10 years on and off, and I never had any actual sales skills. I just kind of skated by on personality and being friendly and making a lot of rapport. And so I ended up getting a lot of sales. I was successful in whatever industry I was in, but never enough to really like actually close deals at a high level.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you don't close deals at a high level, you don't make high level income, right?
You make average income.
You make average income. So a couple years ago, you got involved, you got into NEPQ, I don't know, 2.0, 3.0. You eventually came into Inner Circle. Mm-hmm. What were some of the biggest changes we taught you that took you from 3 or 4 grand a month up to 200,000 a year?
The biggest, I mean, if I were to narrow all of it down into like one little piece of pie, it's just neutrality. In like a macro sense and a micro sense. Neutrality in the way you speak, the words you use, the way you come off to the prospect, but also in just your general attitude towards the sale. Like when you need that sale, when you act like you need it, you have commission breath. People smell that from a mile away, and so
you have to get rid of the commission breath if you want prospects open to you. Because when your prospect feels like you're just there to, stuff your solution down their throat, how do they respond to that?
Oh, you're asking me terribly. Yeah. They tend to not like that. And it's hard. It is a tough thing to balance. Like, if you're not making a lot of money, you feel like you're going to show up with that neediness. And so it's learning to just be okay with the fact that whatever happens is going to happen, and look at your data and understand that, okay, if I'm closing at, 20% right now, don't get discouraged when 80% people don't close. That's just the math for your skill level. And then as you train and as you get better, that will slowly go up. So you can't get mad that you didn't close one person, because like the numbers show that you weren't going to close that person.
That's your current skill level you're at right now. So what's gotten you here? How's it ever going to get you to here?
A gap, you could say.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a gap there. Now you can fill that gap once you learn the right skills. Then you go up to 30%. And it depends on the industry, right? 40%, 50%, right? It just depends on what you're actually selling, okay? And how your company, counts those percentages. So, okay, so being neutral. So I think you posted, I actually saw a post from you one time that actually was quite funny. You talked about being in the assumptive cemetery. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, that was here in Austin, actually, when I was visiting last year. I walked by it. It said Assumption Cemetery. And I'm like, that's where you go when you're.
Oh, that was a real picture?
I walked by it on the way to Walmart. And I just took a picture of it.
That was a meme. Oh my God.
It was a meme that I made out of a picture that I took. It's essentially the point of that is when you come to a call or even get to the end of a call, making assumptions about what that prospect needs, or you've already decided in your head, well, okay, this person's going to buy and this person needs this and this person needs XYZ.
Yeah.
Like you're not listening. You're not truly listening to what they need and what they want. And that's truly the only way to actually help that person. Because that's the rule number one of sales. Only do what's going to help that person and see if there's a sale to be made, as you like to say.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about disarming the prospect. At the event you were at here this fall in Scottsdale, we talked about that. Instead of following the ABCs of closing, always be closing, that mantra, right? It's you against the prospect, trying to win them over, manipulate them so you can make a commission. Adversarial. Instead, you need to learn how to be collaborative. You working with the prospect to help them find problems they didn't think they have, and then actually be able to solve those. So we call that the ABDs of selling. Always be disarming. Now, the way we disarm prospects is we have to come across, especially in the beginning of that call, more neutral, unbiased. We're not quite sure if we can even help yet because we don't know anything about their situation. And when you're able to come across in that manner and you have the right questions, which we teach in our virtual training courses, what do your prospects typically do back?
Well, generally opened up.
Yeah, they open up because they feel like you're there for them, right? To get them from here to where they want to be. They start to view you as the expert, the trusted authority who's going to get them those results. Okay, so your skill level got you up to a couple $100,000 a year in commissions. That's amazing. What caused you to want to get into like the development side of reps and hiring and recruiting? And then let's kind of talk about what employers are looking for when they're out there hiring salespeople that we've got listening to us right now.
Yeah. Well, what got me into it is pretty simple. I just wanted to be able to provide more value to the company I'm with, to the team here, because we're a family. Yeah. And like selling is fantastic. I still enjoy it. I do a little bit of it, but I wanted to find other ways that I can make life easier for the people around me. And a lot of them are doing like a million things at one time. So if I can take, 15% of the stress off of their plate, then maybe we as a company can grow a lot more as well. And so it seemed like recruiting and hiring is kind of a point where everybody's working on it a little bit. And I'd like to be able to just take that so then people can focus on other stuff.
So let's talk about it. So we got all these salespeople listening to us. We might even have some business owners on here listening to us as well that might need to know, like, hey, maybe here's what you might want to ask in interviews. What's a big thing when you guys are interviewing salespeople to place in the company? Mm-hmm. What's like a few, like what's your top 3 things that you're wanting to see from that person before you're willing to put your name on what they're doing and bring them into the company, or bring them into a company to actually sell for that company?
Well, I will give away a little secret. Are you okay with giving?
You can give away some secrets. That's why I brought you on here.
All right, cool. So this part isn't the secret, but this is just our process. When a sales rep wants to work for us, they go through what's called boot camp. We're a military company, right? So it's a boot camp. Yeah. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's intensive. It's made to break you. But at the same time, it's going to make you a lot tougher. It's going to make you a lot better of a salesperson when you get to the other end. And then the people that get to the other end and show their worth, we're happy to bring them on as salespeople, give them the opportunity, help them grow and develop even more. Yeah. Now, the little secret that we'll give you is that we're not always going to reply to you on the first try. So what's a sign of a good sales rep? Someone who's consistent, someone who follows up, who does their follow-up. So if you reach out to us and you say, hey, I really want to work for you, and I read it and I put it down, or Matt reads it and puts it down, or Sean reads it and puts it down, and you don't respond, and you're like, oh, I tried to work for them and they never hit me back. well,
they're out.
you didn't
Okay.
do your follow-up, did you? So like that's kind of the first
I like that. Okay.
Yeah,
That's number one. I like
kind of the
that.
first
Perfect.
And the other thing is ultimately, like, do you have a hunger to learn something completely different?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, there's a lot of different sales systems out there. Some are good, some aren't so good, some work well for certain people. I mean, I'm convinced personally that NEPQ is the best one out there. Maybe I'm biased, but
Sure.
it's what's worked for me. It's what's worked for everybody here at the organization. And so are you open to learning something completely different? Are you open to learning things that are a little out of your norm? And even with NEPQ, that changes sometimes. Like, you've spent 20 years cultivating it, but
Sure.
you taught me a bunch of new stuff in Arizona that I didn't learn in 2.0 because
It's still being cultivated as we
it's
go.
evolving, right? And you're
It always
constantly tweaking it.
evolves. We constantly put more training in the virtual training content,
Exactly.
make it even better. It'll always be continuous training. It'll never just be this, and then it'll never get better. It'll always even be better. Like, from right now to a year from now, it'll even be updated again.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of crazy stuff you do in a year and how NEPQ evolves from there too. So, like, you have to be able to shift and to be flexible, because you're going to get a lot of coaching, especially with us.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that you can take that and run with it.
Yeah. Okay. So are they adaptable to learn new skills that are more advanced than what they've known before, but are going to get them to a much higher level, closing percentage wise and financial, and help more prospects solve their problems? That's what it's all about. Okay. One thing, and I want to tell everybody a little secret of what we do as well, and what we teach companies to do.
More secrets.
We're going to give another secret. So we come in and we do financial audits of companies, all the way from Fortune 100 to SMB, all the way down to just individual salespeople or individual business owners that might have one or two salespeople at very small companies. Okay. And one thing that we always have the employer do that I've really never heard anybody else do. Okay. And I did it back in my corporate career when I was a chief sales officer for one of the companies that I worked for, that I sold for, is we point out blank, ask the salesperson, like, realistically, okay, so how much money did you spend last year in learning like advanced selling techniques or sales skills so that you could make more money? How much money did you personally spend? You know what a lot of people do? Well, I bought this book, oh, what book was it? Oh, it was this book. I spent $20 here, spent $21 there. And the company brought in this trainer for like a weekend and blah, 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 blah. We won't have those employers, and we won't even personally hire those people ourselves, because they don't take their profession seriously. If we have a salesperson that comes in and says, hey man, I invested $1,000 here. I put $3,000 here. I went to this seminar. I've been to 5 seminars last year that I all paid for myself. The company brought in this guy too, and then I hired him. Even if it was bad training, we see a commitment in that salesperson that they take their profession seriously, that they want to be a sales professional. They're not just here for like 6 months or a year and then try to find something outside of sales because they don't like sales, because they really don't understand what selling actually is. So you've got to, as a salesperson, if you're watching us right now, employers are eventually going to start asking these questions. We're teaching all the companies we train how to ask them, and they are weeding out tons of salespeople. And because of that, their attrition is very, very tiny, because they're getting the right people in there that are dedicated to the craft, that are coachable, that want to learn how to sell more effectively so they can make more money, which makes way more money for the company and which solves a lot more prospects' problems. Your thoughts on that? Am I crazy by saying that?
I mean, you are crazy, but for other reasons.
That's
what
true.
you said now, that's actually true.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Walk us through some other things that employers are looking for from salespeople that they're looking at hiring, or even sales managers. What are they looking for?
So this one's going to be maybe a bit of a surprise to some people, and it might hurt their feelings a little bit.
That's good. Let's hurt some feelings.
That's what we're here for. If you're open to being held accountable, sometimes you're going to hear what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
100%.
But a really big thing is, like, take that big lump of like mentality that you have called ego and just put it over there.
Yeah. Why is that so important? Why is that so important?
Because here's the thing, like sales, and like, you've obviously been in the sales world for longer than all of us. it's a very ego-driven game, and that can lead to a lot of mental anguish, a lot of pain. It can lead to people quitting the entire industry.
Yeah.
And like, for instance, like here with us at Sales Sniper, like it's important to us that unless you have an amazing track record of what you can do, and we know that you're open to being coached, like most people are going to start at a role where we can actually build you up from the bottom, just like the military. They break you down and then they build you up into being a super
You're going to start at the private level.
You got to start as an enlisted, right? You're not going to come in as an officer unless you have the ranking already. And so there's a big reason for that. And if I'm being totally honest, if I could go back in time, I would have started from the very, very bottom. Like when I joined Sales Sniper, I came in right as a closer, and that was great. I'm super thankful. Love the opportunity. I've grown and developed a bunch, but if I could have done it again, I would have started as an appointment setter, just been in the trenches, it's like cold calling, right? I did do some cold calling, and that puts hair on your chest. And from there, we can actually build you up with the right systems, the right processes, and to make you like the best possible salesperson you can, because now you know the system from the top down to the bottom.
Yeah, I totally agree. One of the sayings that I posted this maybe a couple months ago, but I always say that low six-figure salespeople have the biggest egos, and that is a very dangerous place to be as a salesperson. If you're listening to me as a salesperson right now, or a sales manager, or a VP of sales, or a CSO, or if you're the business owner yourself and you're seeing this from your team, anytime you have a massive ego, it triggers you to feel like there's nothing else for you to learn. You already know everything about selling. You're already making 130,000, 180,000 a year. You don't need to know anything else. Like, I'm the best salesperson in my company. There's nothing else I could learn. And that level of thinking keeps you exactly where you're at financially.
I concur with that 100%. First time I made 100,000 in a year, I was like, I'm the best. I'm the king. No one can beat me. And then for the next like 2 months, I made no money because my ego was too high.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I had to get beat up to learn to get back in the grind.
And let's say that you are the number one salesperson in your company, or even your industry, but maybe you're in a small industry and you're making 150 grand a year. Well, do you want to keep making that for the next 15 years? Or do you want to learn more advanced skills where you can make even more than that? Because, a lot of times when people hear like, oh, Jeremy made $3 million a year in commissions and, on average in these industries, oh, it must have been his industry. Or maybe they gave him all the good leads.
You got the Glengarry leads.
I guess I got all the pink sheet leads. Nothing can be further from the truth. The average, like, my best year, I made about $3 million a year in commissions. I averaged about 2.4, 2.5 million a year, but my best year was about 2.9 something, about 3 million a year in commissions. Okay. Do you know what the average salesperson, do you know what the average salesperson in my industry that had thousands of people in the industry? It wasn't like there was 5 people in the industry. There was probably at least 10,000 plus salespeople in my industry in the United States, probably more worldwide. What do you think the average salesperson made in that industry on a yearly basis?
60,000.
You're really close. It's like $58,500. I was making that every week, calling the same amount of leads, cold calling, outbound prospecting. So what was the difference? It was my communication skills. It was my conversions. It was the DPL, dollar per lead that came in. Let's say the average salesperson could only sell something for 5,000. I could sell the average sale for 100,000, right? So that takes a certain type of skill level or ability to get you there. Now that's something that is learnable. I wasn't born like Tony was out of my mother's womb with like all this hair on my chest and advanced questioning skills and advanced tonality skills. Those are things I acquired, right? That I love it, that I learned. And that's why our clients do so well, because they're learning those things. Like even clients that come here, they're like, man, I'm so awesome. I make 150 grand a year. And then a year later, they make over 300,000 selling the same thing they were selling before because they don't know what they don't know. So if you want to learn advanced skills, you have to learn from somebody who has those advanced skills, right? What else? What else does employers look for when they're hiring?
Another big thing that we would want to see is, do you genuinely have an interest in what you're doing and that organization? Like at the end of an interview, I see this so often. If your interviewer asks, do you have any questions for us? And you go, nope. It's not a
Oh,
good sign. Like you weren't really curious. Like you don't really care. Even if you don't have any questions,
yeah.
really, make
Yeah.
one up. Like it shows that you're trying.
Yeah. It
Right.
shows that you're genuinely interested in the opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
100% of the time.
Yeah. Be interested. It's not that difficult.
So be interested and be interesting. What's something that they can do to be interesting? Not just interested in the opportunity, but what's something a recruit looking for a job in any industry can do to be interesting to,
Interesting to the interviewer.
yeah.
That's a good question. Now I feel like I'm being interviewed and I need to be interesting. I would sort of go back if I was a sales rep and I was being interviewed, I would go back in my mental Rolodex of events, and I would come up with a couple events where I have done a few things sort of extraordinarily well, or I helped someone in my industry, or I worked together well. I had good teamwork. Because questions like that might come up in the interview, and you don't want to sit there and be like, shit, let me think about that for a second. Like so if you can have some events off the top of your head where you performed really well, that's gonna highlight you.
What you're suggesting is really rehearse the interview. Don't just show up and like wing it, but you rehearse the interview. So you're like an actor or actress in Hollywood, right? They don't show up to the audition. Like George Clooney doesn't show up to the freaking audition without rehearsing, right? He doesn't just come in there and like wing it and hope and pray he gets the part. He auditions for the part. He practices. He role plays over and over and over. So if you're trying to land a gig, you have to rehearse and go over different situations of what they could ask you and how are you going to respond. Write down notes and rehearse that over and over, because it's going to make sure you sound concise and well polished in that interview, rather than like, well, I don't know, and like sound really confused.
Well, it's funny. It's a lot like sales. Like, yes, you want to practice, you want to rehearse, you want to be good at it. However, not every interview is going to be the same. Not every sales call is going to be the same. And so you have to have like that conversational flexibility where you can zig and zag when necessary, just like an interview, just like a sales call. But if you come in there unprepared, you're not going to look as good as somebody who practiced, who rehearsed, who knows their script front and back, and who really knows the process.
Yeah, you come in, if you wing anything in life, sales included, getting interviewed included, you're just not going to be that successful.
For instance, I didn't prepare for this, and look how terribly it's going.
Oh, you're doing well, man. You didn't have to prepare here. All right. So listen, I think this was helpful to everybody in here about the hiring process. Kind of, I love your story, going from 30 or 40 grand a year to 200,000 in commissions a year after you learned NEPQ and, went through our advanced inner circle and all that stuff. Now you've got a new gig where you got promoted in the company and you're developing and hiring reps for the company and interviewing and recruiting. I think that's amazing. You're going to be a valuable asset there for sure. Any last words of advice for anybody listening today?
Biggest thing is, well, I'll give you two things. One is be okay with trusting the process. The direction that you're moving in is far more important than the speed. Yeah. So just understand that you're on the right path. You're on the right, especially if you're learning NEPQ. Like we can all attest, this is the right move to go. Like shameless plug, but it really is. And so like things might not be happening as fast as you would expect, but just stick to the process and it will get better. Like Rome was not built in a day. $1 billion companies were not built in a day. They take time, and you're not going to be an incredible sales rep tomorrow. Like you have to put in the time and the effort, and it will compound and accumulate because you have Jeremy as a mentor. You have the right group of people. It's going to work out. And then the second thing is put yourself out there, and you're not going to get incredible at sales without doing the reps, without like getting on. Like role plays are awesome, but like the best way to do is just get those reps in, get actual sales calls, real life experience. Yeah. So if anybody out there needs sales jobs, reach out to me. We can probably work something out, especially if you've been trained by Jeremy. We love people who know NEPQ. Makes our lives easier. Certified sales reps, employers always hire them 10 times more than somebody that's not certified, because they know they're going to get way more results than somebody that's not. Just very true. The way the ball bounces. Tony, can't thank you enough to be on here. Like I said, if you're a salesperson on here, whether you're new, whether you're a veteran, doesn't matter, and you want to start making at least 10 grand a month in commissions, or 15 grand a month in commissions, or 20 grand a month in commissions, or 30 or 40 or even 50 grand a month in commissions, I don't care what you're selling.
in the comment section if you want to learn those skills like our clients have that are making that type of money. And guess what? They're in the same industry as you watching me right here. I guarantee you we're training people in your industry, companies or salespeople. We're training over 150 different industries. I guarantee yours is one. So if you want to stop getting your butt kicked up and down the road, you just got to learn the right skills, and then you can start kicking everybody else's butt. So in the comment section, post hashtag NEPQ or just message me directly. If you're on LinkedIn, message me directly. Send me a DM. If you're in the Facebook group, message me directly. If you want to join the Facebook group, we'll post it here on LinkedIn, and we'll post it on, we can't post it on YouTube, but if you're on YouTube, you just go to salesrevolution.pro. So salesrevolution.pro, you can join for free. And right when you join the Facebook group, we will message you over a training called the NEPQ 101 mini course. It's a list of different questions you can ask for different sales situations. Even that little free training will help you some more than what you're doing right now. But if you want to learn those advanced skills to make those type of commission checks, or you're a sales manager and you're wanting your team to like double what you're doing right now, how are they going to do that? By doing the same thing, selling the same way, okay? Or you're a business owner and you want to scale your company. Maybe you're at 7 figures. You want to go to 8 figures. You need the right selling skills. Maybe you're an 8-figure company. You want to go to 9 figures. Hell, maybe you're 9 figures. You want to go to 10 figures. How are you going to do that? By using the same sales skills that got you to that level. You've got to learn more advanced sales skills to get to a higher level. So message me directly, and I'll message you back with some different training options to see if we can help you as well. Tony?
And fun fact for everybody, it's actually Jeremy in the DMs. If you think, oh, it's just somebody running Jeremy's account, it's not. I've sent messages and it was definitely Jeremy.
Most of the time, yes. Most of the time.
time.
Sometimes I have somebody hop back in there when I don't have time, but a lot of times it's me for sure. So
well, some people think Jeremy's is, famous sales trainer celebrity, and he's not actually going to talk to me, but it's crazy how many times out of 10 you actually get Jeremy.
There you go, brother. All right, everybody. Thanks for being on here. We'll see you. We'll see you soon. We will not have a live Q&A tomorrow. I'm traveling to my lake house in Missouri tomorrow, so you're going to have to give me some time off. We will be going back live again next Tuesday at the normal time, 5 p.m. Eastern, with a subject matter training. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Tony. Enjoy Texas.
Thank you, Jeremy.
See you, dude.